Hello everyone. So what I chose to discuss today is teenagers and vaping in the United States. One of the most common sights that you'll see today is a young person or a student throwing up their sleeve or their wrist and they have a vape or a vape pen or any sort of vape. There's so many vape devices that are around these days. And we don't know how detrimental the health effects can be with vaping. There's not been enough studies, there hasn't been enough time. So there's the potential that they could be the next cigarette. So what I'm going to discuss today is the detrimental effects of vaping and how we need to dissuade vaping amongst teens and amongst young people. So two of the main issues that are facing, two of the main the main problems that are facing teenagers today with regards to vaping is their just general health. One student that has serious like respiratory issues like asthma, it's going to have a difficult time. According to the Star Tribune in an article published on April 20th of 2019, any student that not any student, but the majority of the students with asthma have actually been tied to vaping. There's a study done that showed that if they vape, they're more likely to have asthma. So it's actually causing respiratory difficulties. Another article published in the LA Times in April 19th of, but in 2021, was that any student that is vaping has a greater risk for smoking as well. Now this is something that was often thrown around by vape companies a few years ago when vapes were starting to get big, is that people vaping will dissuade them from smoking cigarettes and therefore they're healthier, but this isn't the case. In fact, most students that vape are more likely to end up smoking cigarettes anyways, to get that nicotine fix, and it's very detrimental. Now, two of the causes of this this issue are discussed in a BBC article published in April 19th of 2021 as well, and it's ads that are targeted towards young people. So the majority of vaping companies like Juul, whatever vaping company it is, they target their ads towards young people. They're designed in the same way that like an Apple ad would be designed. It's very modern, it's very clean, sleek, and it's it's meant to draw in young people. That's the whole goal of the advertisement. And they know that they are unabashedly targeting young people for their audience because they know those are the ones that are going to buy them. So when young people are targeted by advertisements, they're obviously going to be more susceptible to purchasing these products, you know. The reason that cigarettes no longer have advertisements anymore is because campaigns were done to dissuade them and stop them from being purchased by young people. And this needs to be done with vaping as well. But one of the big things is that vaping advertisements are designed to appeal to the psychology of the younger consumer. And another article published by ABC News in November 5th of 2019 is another thing is that the flavors of vapes, because again, vapes are flavored, whereas cigarettes are not. So if the flavors are designed to appeal to young people as well. When you have flavors like, you know, cotton candy, mint, raspberry, things like that, that doesn't appeal to a more mature audience. That's designed to appeal to a younger audience, especially high school students, young students, even middle school students are getting involved with this, and it's a serious dilemma in the United States. And a lot of this is because the flavors are designed to be something that would appeal to them in the way that a candy would, something like that. So a couple of the major problems as well with teens and vaping is that there's secondhand intake. And in an article published by the Chicago Tribune in August 28th of 2019, secondhand vape intake is going to become one of the most pressing health defects amongst youth, because like secondhand smoke, which used to be a serious issue when cigarettes were so prevalent, it's now going to become vapes because vaping is so common and it's so easy. It's so accessible. It's so and it's arguably more dangerous than cigarettes because it's so convenient. You can just continue to vape throughout the day and you don't even think about it. Whereas with cigarettes, it's a process. So secondhand vape intake is going to be a serious issue. And again, we don't know the health defects of vaping yet. We don't know them to their fullest extent, so we don't know what's going to happen with secondhand vape intake. It could be potentially a lot more life-threatening than we think it is, and it's very deceiving because you're not smelling cigarette smoke or car exhaust, you're smelling cotton candy. So you don't know if it's as severe as it could be. We don't know what it's going to entail. We don't know we don't know how carcinogenic it could be. We don't know the cancer-causing abilities of it. We don't know anything like that yet. In another article published by the New York Post on August 11th of 2020, and this is particularly relevant to today's, but teens are more likely to catch COVID if they vape. Again, with the respiratory issues, your respiratory system is weakened when you smoke cigarettes. It's the same with vapes. They've proved that much. They just don't know the full extent that the health maladies will come from it. You're more likely to catch COVID. If you are vaping, it's more likely you're going to catch colds, COVID, things like that, because your immune system is being weakened and your respiratory tract is weakened. If you can have asthma, you're more likely to catch COVID. And this is, while particularly relevant to today, it has a broader, there's a broader umbrella to the whole thing, because if a student or a young person is more susceptible to COVID, what else are they susceptible towards? What's happening in their respiratory tract with vaping that's going to make them more susceptible? So what are a couple of the solutions that we can talk about here? So in an article published by the Boston Globe on May 19th of 2019, action needs to be taken. There needs to be action taken to dissuade vaping in schools and among students. Like cigarettes, they're everywhere. Cigarettes used to be everywhere, even with young people. They've since died out. Now, why is that? It's because high-profile studies that have proven the health issues, a lot of campaigns to dissuade people from smoking cigarettes, and especially amongst the youth, a lot of anti-cigarette campaigns that have gone on in schools and in young people hangout spots, gathering areas, things like that. Young people know now that cigarettes are so bad for them, and most don't smoke them because they know of how detrimental they can be to their health, but they don't understand that the same thing is the case with vaping. So we need campaigns like that, and it will be a lengthy process. It will take years, but there needs to be campaigns and studies and things like that, all published and all accessible for everyone, so that they can see how detrimental it can be. So I'm gonna leave you with some food for thought. When you see a teenager or a younger person vaping, think about what's happening inside their body, what's going on. Think about all of the adults that you've known that have suffered from cancer because they've smoked cigarettes or things like that. And then think about that youth or that teen in 20 years. What situation are they gonna be in because of their vaping? Think about how tremendous the health defects could be because of this, and think what needs to be done. What can we do to stop this? What can you do to stop the vaping pandemic?